Yeah, morning traders. So it's not really a huge amount of news for us to sink our teeth into. I mean, we're still sort of looking at that China GDP number yesterday and now looking ahead and casting our nets into this Politburo meeting, which comes out to the back end of the month. I know a few sell-side shops have lowered their GDP targets for China for this year to 5%, but certainly we're looking at that Politburo meeting at the end of the month with the fiscal measures that are going to come through there. We also saw the New York Fed manufacturing numbers coming out, slight topside beat there, but I don't think the market's getting too carried away with that one. Now, across the markets, what have we seen? Certainly the dollar index has been very much a focal. The dollar more broadly has been a big focal point of traders. And we saw that trade up to 100.18, but traders have faded that move. And we're pretty much unchanged on the Dixie at the moment. Now, we saw euro dollar trade up to 112.49, a little bit lower than that point at the moment. And we've seen dollar yen currently trading around 138.71. So the market, a bit unsure on dollar yen at the moment. It's pretty much unchanged on the session there and a bit of indecision. We have seen a bit of buying in dollars against the CNH, which happens with the fixing mechanism later on today from the PBOC. But the outperformance across the boards today, we've seen in the South African rand, the Mexican peso, and also the Swissy, which seems to be a bit of a market darling at the moment. On the downside, you've got that Kiwi dollar getting sold off the most. On the equity front, we've seen Euro stocks down 1% or so. In the US, going to the S&P, we've got the cash market closing up 40 basis points at 45.22. The outperformance really coming from tech. Financials looking pretty good at the moment. We've seen some good buying playing through there. Industrials as well. And on the bottom of the pile, you've got your utilities and REITs. But 55% of stocks were higher on the day. So a mixed picture across the breadth side of things. Where we have seen the outperformance has been on the in the banks, I say. So obviously you've seen the Russell working quite well, up 1%, and also the Nasdaq up 1% as well. They're probably the more convincing price actions. In the session ahead, though, you are looking for earnings from Bank of America, from Schwab, from Morgan Stanley, and from Lockheed Martin. So again, looking at those financial exposures across the fixed income curve, you've seen sort of good, reasonable buyers playing through. We've got yields across the curve down about 3 basis points, similar in bunds and also in gilts. And in commodity prices, you've got copper down 2.3%. Most of that selling taking place in Asia yesterday. We've got crude down 1.7%. And you've got gold pretty much unchanged. In the session ahead, we've got RBA minutes, US retail sales, and Canadian CPI. So keep that on your radar. We've got a slightly weaker picture opening across Asia today.